Hey, welcome back. This is part two. We're into bowl blanks. How are we going to get the bowl onto the lathe? All right, and the way you got to do that is you got to get them into a somewhat of a round situation so it's just not, so the vibration goes out of it. So you can turn up the lathe a little bit higher so you can clean out the wood that much quicker. But I use a bandsaw. I did use my chainsaw for quite a while, and it's just a little dangerous because you got to be able to get your bowl to stay where you have it when you're trying to cut the corners off, and that part of it's tricky all by itself. But this makes it so much easier. As long as I got it here, we'll go real quick. This is a 3 teeth per inch. I used a 3/4 inch depth on it, and it is a little thicker. It is 0.032 instead of the 0.25, which most of them are. So it gives you more rigidity in this. The things I like about this Rikon is the fact that this will open up. The throat here is, it says 14, it's only 13 5/8. But the throat is 13 5/8, and I can get the height all the way up to 11 3/4 inches, which is more than my Jet 18 inch. This really does solve my problem for making bowl blanks. The reason why I bought this particular model had to do with its footprint. I needed it to fit my shop. But when this thing is parked against the wall, the back end of it is within about 2 inches, 3 inches of my car. So I have to have this up snug to the wall, and this footprint fit perfect to my shop. And I'm real happy with the power, and I'm real happy with what it does. So that was a win-win. Now let's get into making a bowl blank. What I'm trying to do here is show you something I made that makes it easier for me to make circles on odd shapes. This one's even on all sides, so it's a little easier to do. But when you got a very unusual piece of wood, you need to figure out how to make a circle on it so you can cut it on the bandsaw. Because you want to cut while the flat part is down on the bandsaw for purely safety reasons. But here we got, no matter what the size of this is, it can only be as big as it is wide. So I'm running with 10 inches. So I got a square edge on this side, so I'm going to put this center mark at 5 inches. So that's going to be my mark, a 10-inch bowl. I'm going to get out of here with a 5-inch center. All right, so that's where that mark came from. And then I go 10 inches. I'm out here at 10 inches, and I'm over here at 10 inches. So that's a pretty good spot for me to start. What I do is I take a 1/4 inch drill. Nice and straight though, you want to be, so you're not going in at an angle. And this is something I've made. This is stuff I had laying around, but whatever. What's more important is that you have a 1/4 inch piece of stock, bend it at a 90, and you want it to be about 5.5 inches long. Put a little point on it. It does not have to be sharp because you're just going to set it in the hole. All right. So then on this, I set my laser, and this laser, I think it was $6, is a cat toy that you point at the cat and the cat chases the laser dot around. So don't go spend a lot of money on a laser. You can just do this. The actual holder that I've got on the bar here is off of a just a cheapo compass. I took the apparatus, I don't want to take it all apart to show you, but you can see what it is. And it's got a tightener on it where your pencil, this would have been your pencil, is inside here. Well, that makes it so I can slide this up and down, and it's firm. I have to actually pull it a little bit, all right? So that's gonna go in there. I'll get my mark back again, which is right on there. And I'm right on both sides. I am hoping you can see this red dot, all right? Because all I do is try to keep this perpendicular off of the wood. There is my outside measurement, which is 10 inches. And then I am going to mark all the way on here wherever that little dot goes. So when I get all done here, even though it's a straight up and down wall, I'm going to have a circle that is within the horizon that you're looking for, not something that's all over the place. All right. Now you're not going to be able to see the dot as I go around this side, but it's a repeat of the front side. And then lay it back up again. All right. Now I'm going to take this out of here. close up my magic marker and just let you see what I actually got from that. You can see the circle. It goes down and around and follows the dot, but it's way down the side here because it drops off pretty quick. Well, this makes it easy for me on the bandsaw to lay it down and just notch off this, notch off this, notch off that, clear that off and clear that off. And I got myself at least a piece of bowl blank that I can put on the lathe. I move it from slab to cut rounds and squares, and they put new anchor seal on that, not on the side that's already got anchor seal on, but just the outside edge I cut with the bandsaw. And now I'm going to take all these and cut them down on the bandsaw into rounds, and they'll be stacked out here to dry. Got my first load all cut up and cut into rounds, and I liked it so much I went back and got more. Here I have 7 bowl blanks. These are live oak, but all these I'm going to use them for live edge. I did a whole bunch. I got 55 of other bowls, but these here I wanted to use as live edge. And the reason being, I'm going to get the camera down lower so you can see a little bit more of what's going on with these chunks. They will make great, especially the one in the back over here. I'm going to make that our mountainous terrain live edge bowl. I will definitely put that out. That is too cool. But some of this has actually got a triple. This one here has a triple crotch going on. So we'll see how that comes out. Pretty neat stuff. This is live oak. I've got 5 blanks still left yet. Well, actually 7 blanks, I'm sorry. But this one in particular, it gets a crotch. You can see where the crotch is coming in through there. You can see it where it splits here. I'm going to do a live edge on this one. And the reason why I picked this one is because of its different layout. You can tell it's narrow here, very narrow here, but it's got a mountain top over here. So I'm going to call this one a mountainous terrain. But pretty cool, because when you make this split like this, can't see it so much right now because I've got anchor seal on this already. But this is all burling effect going on in here. So this should be a gorgeous, gorgeous bowl. And that is coming up. Okay, now we're having fun. You remember the black tabletop I had the 7 bowls on, or bowl blanks, that I said we're going to turn those into live edge? Here they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the mountainous terrain one. Now what these are at, there's the difference between live edge and first turn bowls is the fact that live edge, you can't do first turn. Because if you put this aside, which I did, and you start to dry this, these sides are going to warp in so much that you can't put this back on the lathe and start turning again, because you'll end up with your wings gone. And so you basically have to cut your bowl the first time through the shape you want it and get it as clean as possible. And again, you can't sand it because it's too wet. You try to sand it and you're just going to gum up your sandpaper. So what I've done is this stuff has been sitting. When I first put it aside, it was at 22%. It is now at 12%. So this is ready for sanding now. So I'm really looking forward to getting it sanded. But I wanted you to see this again is that one that I call the mountainous terrain, and it is going to be a cool looking bowl. What I've got is too much thickness down here, so I'll get rid of some of this and round this a little bit down here and take some of the weight off the bottom of it. But one of the things I want to show you, which I think is really cool, is when you cut the bowls and you take that live edge bowl out and you make a center saver, the center saver comes in at such an angle that it creates a wider piece of live edge. And this, once we sand this and get this all fixed up, is going to be just plain. Are you going to use it to put anything in it? I don't know, but it's going to be a great piece of artwork. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the centers. Another thing I did is this one had a knot hole in it and had a little hole there. So I added some red epoxy. That'll be cool. This one, all the bark fell off of it. Why, I can't tell you. But it had a couple spots that I filled there too. So I will clean this up and I'll sand that right off. And I'll leave this rough edge. I'll clean this rough edge up a little bit with some sandpaper, but I'll leave that like it is. And we'll see what that looks like. But this is plain fun. And this is, you get to this area of turning, it's just plain exciting to see what it's going to turn into. But all right, there we go. That's live edge. And that is the first part of live edge. This stuff is ready right now to be put on the lathe and start sanding. So that's part of our series that we're going to be talking about. So you'll see these back on the lathe again. Okay, that was part 2. Part 3 is coming up next, which we're going to get into first turning and adding detail to our bowls. But that's where you start to develop what it's going to look like. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to continuing on these. But then part 3, we're going to be dealing more with these bowls back here as to what we're going to do with those. This is a lot of fun. Please subscribe. That way you can follow along with us. Have a great day.